Talking right. Sorry, excuse me. So pretty much she's just like, yeah, so like I honestly like almost never get sleep. Like my off day, honestly, like the first day is usually me sleeping for like 12 hours straight. Because one, like the phone's always ringing, somebody's always beeping me, I gotta fill out my charts. She goes into this one story in particular though, and this absolute me threw me off, gang. So she was like had this one like older gentleman. I think he had came in for like blood clots, something like that, right? He comes in for the blood clots and all that, and like she's taking his vitals and stuff. And tell me why though, y'all. She said the old man starts like having like a delusions type going on thing. She's talking about he starts literally saying, "Mama, it's okay." She looks over to her right while she's taking the vitals. Ain't nobody in this goddamn room but them two, right? So I'm wondering in my head, I was like, what the hell is he talking about, right? She goes in and says this. She's like, basically, his mom had passed like maybe like 2 or 3 years prior, right? And ever since then, he's been talking about her as if she's like a real person. Like not just talking about her, but talking to her in front of other people. So I'm over here like, damn, that shit crazy, gang. Fast forward maybe like 4 or 5 days later, she comes in to take his vitals. The man's dead. Kick the bucket. She instantly starts bawling, crying. But the thing is, in the midst of all that, she still has to go out with her entire shift. Yeah, like there is no chilling. There is no none of that. Oh, I can go ahead and just go home, take a mental health day. No, that is her everyday life as an ICU nurse. And she says there's some days which is chill, ain't too bad, but she was just like, stuff like that happens so much more often than people think, and no one ever talks about it. And I can just tell, like, she's getting kind of frantic while she's sitting at the table. She's crying a little bit. I'm trying to calm her down. I was like, oh, let's get some margaritas, let's chill, go ahead and do whatever. So we go ahead and do that, and honestly, like, her mood starts to bring up a little bit more. She's not feeling as anxious and all that, so I'm really happy for her. But in the midst of all this, it changed my perspective on nurses because everybody be talking about, oh, nurses are hoes, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, bro, like, one, we don't know what goes on in these offices. And I'm not saying there's not nurses out here that do that. There may be some, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I don't think that's the whole majority of everything. But, like, the emotional, like, trauma that they deal with is something that I really, like, never really thought of, because you hear about they make good money, you know what I'm saying? They got, like, 3 days off or something like that back to back, but 12-hour shifts and dealing with emotional trauma, I'm like, God damn. I don't know if I could do it, gang. I didn't. So we eventually go ahead and wrap up the date. It's going really smooth. I ended up not really kind of like doing too much with her. I just like, you know what? Shoot, I'll probably just be friends with her for real. Not that there was anything wrong with her, but it's just that like, I could just tell like she was dealing with